Hey everybody, it's Galmadex, and welcome back to another Pick 2 draft of Through the Omenpaths, the in-universe version of the Spider Man set, now on Magic Arena. Without further ado, let's get into this. This is a Pick 2 draft, so a 4-player draft pod taking 2 cards at a time. That is the only ranked draft format for this set, so let's just get into it and see how we do here. I'm definitely taking the rare and the uncommon here. Demera, Soul of a Spider, is going to draw us a card every time a spider enters, and there's a good chunk of spiders in green and white, as well as the web-slinging mechanic that will return one of your creatures back to your hand to let you recast it again later. That's a way to spam spiders out and recast them. And then Sarn here is a way to draw cards as we're doing that web-slinging stuff and recasting creatures to play more than one in one turn. It's also a spider to go with Demera's ability and draw a card, so I like that a lot. The one issue that I have with this is that we really don't want anybody else to end up in the same color pair as us, and some of the best cards we're passing are also in green-white. Chizak, a massive finisher, and Gallant Citizen, that cheap little draw spell, but there's really weak stuff in every other color, so there's not even like a way to just take some decent off-color stuff and then try to shove the other players into green-white and have them fight over it. There's really no other decent picks. There's kind of no choice there but to head into green-white, and so far it works fine for us. We get 2 great cards for this color pair. The Web Keepers here is great in any green or white deck, putting a counter on your entire board when you play it. Super good. The City Pigeon's also really good, specifically with the web-slinging mechanic, or the in-web mechanic, I guess they call it on Arena. Because it's a cheap creature that's very easy to get attacks through with. It's very easy for that to end up tapped on your board, so you have the permanent you need to pick up and play your Sarn, so I do like that quite a bit. That said, Spectacular Tactics is fantastic. Very, very flexible. Removal spell or the hexproof trick to save somebody, so that's a high pickup as well. I wouldn't be surprised if as the format progresses we realize that maybe Spectacular Tactics is actually a higher pick than the Pigeon here, but I highly doubt, no matter how the set plays out, that Web Keepers is not one of the 2 picks there. The only thing that's kind of close there is the fight between City Pigeon and the Spectacular Tactics. So our next couple picks, we're still doing great, getting some awesome green-white stuff here. I think Leyline Weaver as well. This card is just really, really excellent for any green deck or any red deck. So I might take that over the City Pigeon. But I'll certainly take the Gallant Citizen. Gallant Citizen is one of those cards that can just steamroll your opponent in card advantage if they don't have a good curve, right? If you drop the Citizen and then turn 3 you get to attack with it and then pick it up to a web-slinging card, that's just massive, massive value, drawing another card. All right, great stuff now, still. Basil here is very good at enabling web-slinging, because you can flash Basil in during your opponent's end step, tap their 1 blocker, untap, attack with Basil. There's your tapped card to pick up to your web slinger, and the card you've picked up has an enter the battlefield effect for when you recast it. So very synergistic with that mechanic, as is the Referee. Referee, just a great enter the battlefield effect. It can also juice up your creatures to make sure they're big enough to get through. Real good for the archetype, and now we get to take just a web slinger and a green-white duel. Completely cut that color out. And again, just keep cutting green and white entirely here, because we're fully locked in at this point. Okay, we got a great green removal spell with Terrific Team Up. 2 of your creatures get to fight together and deal damage to something else. I guess it's not technically a fight spell, it's a bite spell. Your creatures do not take any damage back in the fight, so to speak. We've also got Chizak, or we've got Zora. So Chizak is like a huge standalone finisher, don't need to do anything else but cast it, and you're on track to win the game really well. So I do like Chizak for that, but if we have a ton of spiders in the deck and a lot of synergy for them, currently we have 4, then Zora could get a lot of value, putting counters all over them. I think I'm just going to take the Chizak for now with only 4 spiders in so far, and no 6-drop finisher yet. But I think Zora would be perfectly fine in the deck as well. We already want to draft spiders quite highly if we can for Demera. Most important stuff for us to find here is going to be removal now. This is where not taking that Spectacular Tactics ends up looking quite bad. And this is the awkward part about the way we passed pack 1. Our very first pack that we passed, the best cards were in green and white. I think every point after that we cut green-white decently well, but I wouldn't be surprised if the player on our left is also green-white, which would be a shame here. Best stuff in this pack by far is stuff for Black-Red Madness, like Nil and Quint's Insight, or just Quint's Insight and Razorkin, just two great red cards. Don't really think there's any backup plan style cards here, but I really don't want to play like Scout the City. I guess I just take two blue-white modified cards. The Unstable experiments an instant speed way to get a counter on somebody and modify them, and the Kuminos is an excellent finisher for blue-white modified, drawing you a card every time you hit somebody with something modified. This pack is perfectly fine now, cats and lizards. They certainly aren't spiders, but they are solid threats for the cost. This is actually probably not a great Lurking Lizards deck. Might go aces and cats over that. Ooh, another Sarn. Good web slinger. And then a great spider. The Clutter Cluster can be a bunch of spiders off of one spell if we web sling it for 6 in the late game. Or it's just a 2-mana 2/3 on curve, just get to spider down and draw a card off Demera. That was a really good pack to see. Makes me feel less scared about how the draft is going, for sure. Another Grow Extra Arms. We got quite a few spiders. That'll be a 1-mana trick. If we can't find removal, we'll use our 1-mana tricks, I guess. Almost have a full deck here. Again, really the only thing we're missing is removal, but sadly we are not seeing it at all. We got to take removal real highly in the pick 2. In the 4-person pods. Seems like it vanishes. Speaking of, Spectacular Tactics, get in here right now. I like the favored fighter here. We've got a good chunk of 2s already. I do like how Basil plays with the web slinging mechanic, but it would be a second copy of a legend, which I don't love unless they're really good legends like Sarn. And I really like the combo of Leyline Weaver into favored fighter. That can be just backbreaking. If you're on the play and you play a turn 2 Leyline Weaver, if it doesn't get blown up, your turn 3 gets to be play a favored fighter, untap the Leyline Weaver, create a treasure token, play another 2-drop, and that's almost unbeatable. Just an insurmountable board state at that point. So I'm going to take the favored fighter for the Weaver combo there. But definitely the Spectacular Tactics. No removal here, just combat trick with Lively Leap. I've already got double Grow Extra Arms. I'm not going to spend a high pick on a Lively Leap here, I think. So let's take another Web Slinger. Take Zan, Mana Fixing Web Slinger. And then Generous Betty looks fine. I don't have a lot of 3-drops in this deck. I guess I kind of do. We could just web sling stuff on turn 3. Right, 2 Sarn, 1 Zan. Kind of makes sense. Yeah, maybe I do take Lively Leap over Betty. I'm not sure on this, but I'll take Betty. Don't mind another 2-drop. We do want like a bajillion of those. With at least 3 mana web slingers. There's also a green-white duel and a Perilous Lunge, though, and I'm low on removal. It's either the dual land and the lunge, or the lunge and the instructor. I'm going to go dual land and lunge here. Fixing helps a lot to maybe play like a double white aerialist. Solid spider count for Rouse the Swarm, don't hate it. And the Opulent Valet is just another nice flyer for web slinging back to our hand. Wield the Basil, which is great. I will play him, even though the Legend rule has hands. Then I guess, if I'm really desperate for removal, I can play 5 mana, deal 5, but obviously very inefficient. It plays fine, we didn't take the Lively Leap or the Crime Scene Instructor because we wheel both of them. That is it for the drafting. It goes nice and fast in these pick 2s. Alright, we get to cut 7 cards here. We cut a bunch of non-spiders, non-web slingers. The aces are such a weird card because, like, they have a fine activated ability for the average deck, but when it's a deck that's heavy in web slinging, that ability, like, helps and hinders you, which makes it, like, below average. Probably worth cutting, because giving the things vigilance obviously means you're not web slinging them back, you're not webbing them back to your hand. These are also non-spider creatures, which are the first things I'm looking to cut here. So I think that's fine. I do think Wonderweave Aerialist has a relatively difficult mana cost for not too much payout in this deck. Not too much payoff. So that would be a reasonable cut. The one thing I do like about it is a spider, which this deck likes a lot because of Demera. Demera really, really wants spiders, but then also like Rouse the Swarm benefits from spiders. So Aerialist is on the potential chopping block as well for the difficult mana cost. It is not often going to be our 2 mana play. What's the creature versus non-creature count at as well? Because the fact that we didn't get a bunch of good removal makes me feel like we basically have to run all these non-creatures at this point. But maybe we have room to cut like one combat trick and just run the extra arms, I suppose. We've got 22 creatures, 8 non-creatures right now. One of those non-creatures is Rouse the Swarm, which is essentially just another creature. Even the Spider Coach, to an extent, plays a lot like a creature, but we have to have one on board for it. I mean, this is like a creature on the potential chopping block, though, because it's one that needs other creatures on board to do anything. And it really wants a bunch of other ones on board to actually be exciting. And get a big buff. But that then leaves us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 non-creature spells. See, 6 non-creature spells and 17 creatures is your typical 23 non-land deck that's got a nice heavy creature count. So, I think we actually are keeping all the tricks in then. So we have 6 non-creatures and 17 creatures. That feels like where we want to be. Pretty creature heavy, but still has some tricks to get over, big blockers, sneak some damage through. Has all 3 removal spells that we managed to draft in as well. What is our spider count, by the way? 9 spiders, 1 Rouse the Swarm. So we're on 10 spiders here. Which kind of feels like critical mass for Spider Coach. I do like that. I guess I'd be cutting down to 9 spiders if I drop Aerialist. I kind of feel like Opulent Valet, theoretically good with web slinging, but majority of our web slingers are the 3 mana ones that are really important, which means we really want to go 2-drop into 3 mana web sling rather than 3-drop into web sling then on turn 4. Line cutting Valet, it's also a non-spider. Darvel is not that exciting, but Darvel's a spider, and is at least much easier to cast for this deck than Aerialist. Very unrestricted mana cost. This deck is not often modifying the Aerialist either. We have 2 ways to do it. 1 Webkeepers and 1 Betty Ray. Those would both be good with the Aerialist, but again, that's only 2 ways. I could see dropping the second Basil because of the legend rule. But there's other filler 2-drops like the Cats. Destructor's pretty filler as well, but in theory decent with web slinging. Not as good as Gallant Citizen or something, but web sling this back to our hand and move a counter around before we replay it. I guess another awkward part is I really don't want to cut too many 2-mana plays when I have like double Sarn that really incentivize us double spelling and casting 2 creatures in one turn. Opulent Valley probably goes up in value when we've got double Sarn, because it's also 2 creatures off of 1 spell. So we cast a single Opulent Valet, and that triggers Sarn. Yeah, that's kind of nice. And I'm going to put the spider in. Hard as it is to cast. I really like the Basil abilities, and then cut those. 3 more cuts to go. That's a lot of 3 mana stuff, but technically it's also spread amongst higher curves when we're not web slinging it, which makes the curve look more reasonable, more spread out like that. I like everybody in here. I like everybody in here. I guess one benefit to the Spider Coach that also makes me want to try to leave that in is letting us web sling without attacking is actually kind of sick, right? Because then we can crew this instead of attacking in. So even if they have blockers for Gallant Citizen, I could like tap it and somebody else and then still pick up the Citizen to a Web Slinger. Okay, yeah, we'll Spider Coach. This feels like the deck for Spider Coach, right? We've got a good chunk of spiders, and we also care about tapping our creatures, so being able to do that outside of combat is valuable. I'm gonna try one of each combat trick here. We'll go one Grow Extra Arms and one Lively Leap, see how they play out. I wouldn't be surprised if they're both solid here because they both play really well in different scenarios. Like, Grow Extra Arms is better when you're in combat and you just need your creature to beat their creature, but Lively Leap is better, like getting the last couple points of damage in, because often it might be a board stall, but they might not be prepared to block a flyer because they might only have one flying creature that's already attacked you. And then on the crackback, you're like, okay, my 4/4 is a 6/6 flyer, now you're dead. So they're both good in different positions. So we'll try one of each, see how they play out. Clutter Cluster is a reasonable 2-mana play. I should keep that at 2 mana on the curve because the thing that's pretty sick about this, you can curve out with it normally. And if it gets to a position where it would be valuable to, like, in web it for 6, we have opportunities to potentially bring it back to our hand by webbing somebody else after attacking with this. Like, if this is our 2-drop and we're curving into one of our 3-mana web slingers, it's just going to be great because the 3 toughness means it'll often be able to get in for the attack and then just get picked up, and then we have that for that late game 6-mana web as well. So I do need to put that at the 2-mana slot and consider that, because I was thinking, like, I feel low on 2-drops for this deck. I feel like this deck wants a bajillion of them, but then I'm like, wait a second, Clutter Cluster's a 2-drop. Sure, we do want to web it at 6, but if it's our only 2-drop in our hand, jam it out and just play it, just curve out with it. It will be absolutely fine. Which leaves us with a good chunk of 2s. That is 8 creatures that cost 2 or less mana. Sounds perfect to me. I have to find some combination of 2 higher mana spells and or creatures and cut those. I do think it should be 2 creatures because we have Rouse and Spider Coach in the non-creature spells. We still have 9 spiders without Darvel. It's literally just a 3/3. Yeah, because we have 8 spiders in the Rouse. I'm gonna drop Darvel. God, everybody else is so good. We're playing a 41 card special today, and you can't stop me. Let's head into gameplay and see how far this one can take us. That is an awkward opener right there. 2 of the same legend, both of our only copies of that, and nothing to web sling with them. We do have 2 removal spells, but we're on the play. We don't play anything till turn 4 if I don't hit the creature. I don't think I can keep 2 of the same legend and no other creatures in hand, even though we have the right colors. That's a yikes, because much better. Obviously being down a card is disappointing, but the City Pigeon is kind of the perfect card alongside the Sarn. We still have one of those removal spells with spectacular tactics. Playing against a green deck. Draw a tap land to get out of the way on turn 2. Double Forest. There's the Cruel Caracals. The kitties. I think I have to wait till 4 mana so that I can guarantee I draw 1 card off of Sarn the turn I play him. If I web out the Sarn now and then I just top deck another land, it's very, very rough. But now no matter what I draw, I know I can draw at least 1 extra card and try to get ahead here. In that way. They're stuck on Forest. We did just top deck a land. So pretty happy with the choice to wait on Sarn here. Next draw is yet another land. Definitely no blocks here. They have some kind of 2-mana instant speed play, so likely the +4/+4. I don't think it's worth putting Sarn at any risk here against anything like that. Or if they just go like Mountain plus Shock to deal 2. There's a lot of different ways blocking with Sarn could be pretty bad there. Got a Rhino's Rampage. Blow up our City Pigeon and blow up one of the 2 foods. Sure. We don't really care about the food at all. Just want the flyer for the Sarn ability. Alright, well, we hit another spell, but it's removal that is entirely unnecessary right now. So our opponent has time to draw their next lands here. They're not under very much pressure at all. Just pass through. Drawn to a Leyline Weaver. I think we hold on to that for when we draw another creature. 2 for 1 them here to keep Sarn out. I would not have made that attack without Team Up in hand. I mean, I guess it would have been perfectly reasonable with just Spectacular Tactics, right? Because they're most likely play off of just Forest. Forest is the grow extra arms we were talking about. And if they use that, then I get to destroy a creature with power 4 or greater in response. Kill the creature. Oh my god. I mean, we're not doing as poorly as our opponent, but not doing great. Oh, that can choose both. I thought this card was good, and I didn't even know it could do both those abilities. That's actually very good. GG from opponent. Just rough draws. I don't know if it seems rude or not. No, I could just say I do apologize. That's fine. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I was like, I don't know if I say lands, am I right? I don't know about that. Alright. That is 1-0. Not much of a game there. Head into game 2. Alright. Here we are on the play for game 2. We've got the keys to our last hand in this one. We have City Pigeon into Sarn. Will we get to play a 2-drop on turn 2 today? Maybe, maybe not. Because I have 2 Sarn in hand, I'm gonna go ahead and web sling right now. Since I top decked the second one. Give me anybody that costs 3 or less, please. Give me one of my 2-drops. No. Tragedy strikes. Well, it's gonna be super goofy, but it works. Sarn my Sarn. It's an additional cost, right? Yeah, so I'll put the other Sarn in my hand before this one hits the board. I don't know what you're talking about, Legend Rule Arena. Oh, I guess it doesn't know that I'm picking up the other Sarn. Is why it says that. It doesn't know what I'm picking up until I put it on the stack. Oh no, Sarn number 1 is gone. You dare kill my pigeon. Wow. Vile. Vile and evil. We did get a 2-for-1. They actually fully discarded a card there, no mayhem. Referee plus pigeon seems fine. Yeah. Little croissant stealing bird. Secretly the best card. I don't know about that. It's fine though. It's got good synergy in this archetype. Sun Furnace is just ripping us apart. But we've got a lot of life gain. We have 6 life worth of food on the board, and then Sarn abilities as well. They have white base removal for Sarn. I am going to be sad. But if they have red base removal for Sarn, like damage base removal, Lively Leap might be able to save him. I am interested in re-upping Referee's ETB. I'm going to pick that up. And I specifically want to unweb instead of casting here because I want to be able to hold up Lively Leap around the deal 4 in red. Good value. Got at least 1 card off him before he dies. That is one of the horrific rares, isn't it? When you attack with anybody, put a counter on that creature. And when that creature deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card you can play this turn. Yeah, that is one of the bonkers rares. I think we're still pretty ahead here, though. I am not putting Sarn at risk trying to kill that. Terrible auto tap. Only have 1 green spell in this hand and wants to tap more white mana. I can go to Value Town or I can start racing, and I think they're low enough now. I just want to be racing at this point. Uh-oh. Well, they're gonna need double trick. Alright, no double trick. Take those. Going to Value Town with the referee was gonna be picking up the draw spell. I was not clear about that. Okay. They already used the +2/+2 trick. What are the odds of another? Pretty low. Gross. 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They're 1 life away from dead to Basil. Worth it. Flood out from our opponent is going to be game that is 2-0 heading to game 3. Double legend in the opener. I'm still keeping. We'll just trade off Basil very aggressively. Probably should have started with plains. I have a double white 2-drop. But I guess if I top deck that, it's not like I would magically create a second plains in my hand out of thin air. Weaver gets to curve into Zan, even if I don't hit a land. Just tapping it, having to tap creature for the inweb. I don't like you, Demara. I don't appreciate the potential card draw you're about to be spewing all over the board. But I do like the ramp I'm getting here. Probably wouldn't have been crazy to take a third white source with how white heavy this hand is, but I have double green spells in this deck, like Chizak and the double green spider cluster. What is this? Ooh, a Bant dual land? Oh, that's very nice in-universe artwork. I feel like the majority of the flavor of these cards and like the artwork, I could like take it or leave it. For the in-universe stuff, like this Surus dude. But there's some of them that are like, I really like this Capenna artwork. I would buy a paper version of that card for like $1. Okay, well they have a bajillion creatures on board, including Peter Parker, so we have problems. Don't have any interaction to do anything about those problems though, so I guess jam and play like Valet and Weaver, or Valet holding up the flash spells. Ooh, make Demara 4/4, please. Nope. They're just buffing the pigeon, which makes sense. I've got the hexproof trick up alongside this. Big Basil. Big Basil is here. Yay, Legend Rule says goodbye. That's why I chose Basil instead of Zan. If I chose Zan, Zan would also be 2 toughness on the attack. And the 2 toughness would trade down into the spider. So I wanted to be able to attack with everybody and be really okay with trading off whatever fought. And so, obviously, trading off the legend that I have a duplicate of in hand is very okay with me. But trading off Zan would have been super bad. So I just would not be attacking with Zan if I played it the other way. Hello, big boy. Hello, bigger boy. I guess I just blow him up instead of tapping here. But if I tap, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I can find lethal if I tap City Pigeon and then blow up Surus. Just untap a chumper, but I'm not actually going to chump. Alright, they are dead to tactics. Exactly 8. That was some scary stuff from our opponent starting off there. The potential card draw engine. They got an extra card off the Peter Parker too. Plaza was going off, but those basils were really, really nice, being able to manipulate the board state like that. I think the line of lunging with basil onto the rare and then attacking with it and trading it off also played incredibly well for us. That let us push the extra damage in with Zan that turn instead of having to hold him back to get them to this life total that would let us then cast the other basil, tap something down, and find the lethal here. That was really, really nice stuff. We are 3-0 now, heading into game number 4. All right, here we are on the play for game number 4. No green source in an opener with a double green card is quite sketchy, but everything else about the hand is very good. We have 3 planes with a turn 2 Demera, turn 3 Sarn. We got a Lively Leap as well. Top decking more green creatures will make the hand worse. This is also the only other double green card in the whole deck, but it technically only needs 1 to be cast. Steel Web Surveyor. I could genuinely use one of those. Send in here. If they block, we leap. If they don't, we Sarn. Oh, unless I draw Basil. Do I just want to poke through here? Basil's a better card to pick up for Sarn as well. Sure, let's just poke through here. So full control mode will allow us to declare the attack, and before they're allowed to declare blockers, tap and untap here. And this now sets up for picking up Basil with Sarn, which will let Demera actually draw us a card. Need to top deck a land to do that now. So that I could leap Basil above the Infernus and then do it. But I think that's the play, is trying to top deck the land, hoping to top deck the land. If we top deck the 3rd green spell. Yeah, that's horrendous. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Our opponent is mono red, by the way. Mono red Infernus, which is very fun. Like, they played a Steel Web Surveyor and just did not care about getting a second color, so we know they're mono red. Well, I think our mana base beat us this game, but our opponent's deck is very cool. Mono red Infernus. Oh wait, no, they are green, but they didn't want to Surveyor in a green? Alright. Yep, this is far too late now. We have not drawn a single land all game. Just more uncastable green spells and 1 Valley. We're under enough pressure now, we gotta just be chumping. Definitely an argument I should have given up earlier on the Leap plus Sarn play, but I feel that that was like our best bet to get back in the game if we found it early. But, you know, after a turn of it not working out, you know, block plus Leap, kill the Surveyor, gain 2. Helps us soak up a good chunk of damage. Prolong the game at least another turn here in the end game. Or white spell. I don't know why they didn't attack with the 5/5 there. Only had 4 power. I'm actually just not sure they didn't just send basically everybody in. Surveyor makes sense. We got the 1/1 for the 2/1. But I feel like their attacks with Infernus and String Puller were pretty good last turn. Oh, This is horrendous. +3/+1, sure. And not one land was drawn that game. That is 3-1. Heading into game number 5. Alright, wow, we've been on the play. Have we been on the play literally every game? I don't know, but this hand is much better mana-wise. So snap keep. A city pigeon deck over there, too. That's not fair. We got reach. Okay, of all the spiders, the spideriest spider doesn't have reach. I guess I need to lead with city pigeon then. To stop their web slinging. Because if I play Basil and tap it to stop it from attacking, well, it's tapped and they can web sling it back to their hand because it's tapped. So Basil doesn't really stop it. Only City Pigeon if I want to stop them from getting one of those good 2-mana web slinging commons. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. This is quite bad. Perfect somebody with a pastry. Make them a 2/2. That is only as a sorcery, so I can trade a pigeon for pigeon here. Alright, we'll just let them web sling off a random tapped pigeon. Stop a damage here, because I'm going to curve out with Basil either way. Get another creature on the board. Yep, that is one of the most busted signpost and commons in the whole set. I don't know if I've ever beat that card. Probably by now. But I think I've lost to that more than any other uncommon. Every time they play any creature, they put a +1/+1 counter on somebody and give it flying. It is absolutely gnarly, and we do not have our removal in our hand. If we had our strike thing or 1 and a white, we would have just immediately blown that thing up. Because that can easily win them the game from here. Prevent the web sling here. Web slinging just incredibly good with this ability. Here's the aerialist mana. But now their pigeon's big enough to get past mine and get web slinged here. Web slung and webbed. Whatever of the many ways you want to call it. That is 3 +1/+1 counters and flying to a Lessos this turn. Oh boy. They can also just pick up the other city pigeon. It's probably better. I think that was actually just really beneficial to me that they chose that, because I think it was much better for them to pick up the other city pigeon. Because then instead of 2 +1/+1 counters, they get a city pigeon and a +1/+1 counter. So the second +1/+1 counter just turns into a full-on extra creature there instead. Unless this only triggers once per turn or something. No, it's every single creature. Yeah. Lessos is terrifying. Oh. the Janai and Hoppy as well. Another flyer, and that one spits out 1/1s every time they sling it back to their hand, every time it leaves the battlefield. Yeah, I think very similar to last draft, the one flaw of this deck coming back to bite us quite a bit here, which is just the lack of removal. We have 3 removal spells in the whole deck. There was one pick that I made earlier. I don't remember what I took over it, but I took something over another Spectacular Tactics, which is the 1 and a white destroy something with power 4 or greater. I think that pick definitely worked out really poorly this draft. We should have just grabbed more removal here, because this is a game that goes completely differently if I blow this up before it gets a single trigger. If I blow this up before it gets a single trigger, I think we're actually a little favored. But as you can see, it just stacks up so much over time. Makes things real bad for us. Let's see anywhere I can find a way to web sling here, because anything just dies into the pigeon. How big it's gotten. I think I have to just hard cast plus play another pigeon. I don't really think I have outs at this point, but we'll play it out and see. Like if I find removal for Alessos now, I guess it's actually still not completely over, but it's not a great spot. Got a wide enough board state though that if instead of drawing Zan this turn, I drew the destroy a creature with power 4 or greater, I think I could have been okay. Maybe still stood a chance here. Hmm, 3/3 reach. Again, like I'm looking fine every turn, but all it takes is them to cast 1 creature for that immediately to just not be fine. Because just 1 more Alessos trigger, 7 power flyers coming in. I need to chump with one of my reach creatures or flyers, which then means I don't have enough to stop the city pigeon. And it all crumbles really quickly. I've probably forgotten some Sanctuary triggers. Mothwing Shroud is incredible. We did not see a single copy in our draft pod, which is a bummer. That would have been the cream of the crop that pushed this deck to the top tier, is if we had a couple copies of that. But white was definitely a bit contested. I think you're too late, Demera. If I just spend next turn playing a Demera with just these 2 blockers, shredded by those so quick. I mean, maybe not. If I literally draw Demera and then instantly draw another spider, could be something. How many spiders do I even have left, though, after the amount I've drawn? I've got Web Keepers, I've got Chizak, 2 Sarns. Four spiders left in the deck of 26 cards, 4 out of 26. Yeah, that's a mill. Legend Rule makes that pretty awkward, but the enter effect is still interesting. Probably will be worth the tempo of playing when they're going to go for like a big attack or something. No. Creature for the Alessos trigger. Yep. All right, goodbye Basil number 2. I'm gonna chump. Essentially chumping with a Basil here. Okay. Get rid of the city pigeons. They can't attack when they don't play a creature. They are top decking blind while we're surveilling. Oh, Lord. I mean, they only have one natural flyer out, so that's not the craziest. Costume closet here. Pick up the Demera, or I don't want to pick up a Basil. And then this is 2 creatures off the top. That's got to be a keep. Don't think Demera impacts the board currently. I would rather have the mana to surveil again. Because I still have 2 of the draw a card every time I play 2 creatures in one turn card in my deck. So if I draw either of those, playing Demera and that in the same turn, it's pretty huge. And again, I don't have the mana to play this in Surveil. If I had the mana to play this in Surveil, I'd probably still just cast it here, even though I have those in the deck. Oh. It's whenever Betty attacks. Betty is not going to get attacks in, period. But I can modify the Aerialist. Okay, that's huge. Two ++ encounters on somebody else when that dies. Okay. Neither of these have relevant abilities on board. Theoretically, Betty does, but the board state is not going to be in a position where she's getting in. That's a 6/6 trample? If I draw any web slinger, it's also insane. Then I can just keep looping cluster web slings until they're dead. Dead of them playing 3 creatures in one turn. Every turn that I attack with Aerialist. And they've been sitting here not playing a creature for a while, so they might be trying to get that kind of oops lethal triple creature in one turn. Well, if they have that, my best play is chump, chump, chump anyway. Which does lead to me dying pretty quick. I feel like now I have like a really good path to a guaranteed victory if I can grind it out though. So I'm gonna try to play it very safe towards grinding it out here. Because now if I top deck anything with web slinging, or if I top deck the like play 2 spiders a turn, I guess that counts as anything with web slinging, then I'm in an incredible spot. Milled 2 lands. I've drawn 9. That's 11 lands down. 6 left in the deck. I could activate again right now. Then I only have 5 mana untapped. I don't think I want to do that. Because I want to be able to web sling Clutter Cluster after putting it back in my hand. So I'd need like 9 mana total. 3 mana to web sling and then 6 to web sling this. Shazak is here. Big boy. Draw a card. If my web slingers are in like the bottom 4, I just lose. Oh my god, lands. Well, we're almost through all of the lands now. Now I've got a gigantic reacher, so we can start hitting for 3 a turn again. Because even if they play 3 creatures in one turn, or even if they play 4 creatures in one turn, they only have 3 creatures to be attacking with potential flying. Should start attacking Spider Coach now too. Because that actually is the 7th power it needs. Because I have 1, 2, 3, 4... Oh, I forgot this was a spider the whole time. I have 5 spiders on board. This would be an 8/8 on attacks. I could have been attacking Spider Coach earlier. Forgot this thing's a spider. It's a little bit easier to tell. This is, I guess, one complaint that I would say about in-universe artwork versus Spider-Man. It's not really the artwork, but the names. A little bit easier to tell what's a spider in paper. Because obviously, yeah, if I look at the spider closely, or at the artwork closely, this is clearly a spider. But it's just like Wonderweave Aerialist. It just sounds like some little modified flyer over in the corner. But in paper, this card is called Skyward Spider. This is Spider's Man. This is Miles Morales Spider-Man, or Spider-Man Brooklyn Visionary, something like that. This is Spider Manifestation, and so on and so forth. Almost every spider in the set has spider in its name in paper. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, didn't even matter because they have a bomb rare that they can tutor up off of a tutor. That's very disappointing. Closet is sorcery speed, right? Oh. Sure. I mean, I'm already just dead to this. It's like +6, +6, +7, +7 a turn. 3 chump blockers here. Yeah, it's +7, +7 on their board. Okay, I mean, I'm not completely dead to it. We still have like a turn to find Spider Man UK or whatever. Terrific team up. This is whenever you cast a creature, not whenever a creature enters, so it won't count remarkable readings. So we could take Team Up and kill the Bargain Spinner. Should have actually teamed up with our 4/3 so I could send in a 5 power creature and a Spider Coach here. I don't think I can afford to attack with Aerialist. Makes me dead to removal. Because I only have one reach blocker up. They blow it up with removal and play any creature and send in a giant flyer. Yeah, I missed out on Zan attacking here. That was wrong. It's so rough. So that completely gets rid of the clutter cluster. Web slinging out. Just have to go right back to somehow wideboard stating it. When I get edicted every turn by this bomb rare. All right. There was a good chunk of like 10 turns in a row in the middle there where I was like, we got some potential outs we can work towards, but we're just right back at square one of where we were from like turn 5 of like, no, this is just a guaranteed loss. Can't even mill them out because I have one less card in library than them. And even if I tried, I don't have enough creatures to chump that many turns in a row. Good grief. All right, you got it. That is 3-2 heading into. Oh wait. This is a pick 2 draft. It is over at 3-2. Yeah, that was disgusting. It showed off the major flaw of the deck being the lack of removal. We did not draw a single removal spell until like 27 cards deep, something like that, until massively late in the game. So Lessos just got to sit there taking over the game for so long that it was this big top deck war where our opponent had a great bomb rare in their deck as well as a way to tutor it. So they're obviously favored in that sense. Until they drew the Bargain Spinner, we had some potential outs there I was working towards, which was, since we hit that Spider Coach, if we drew any of our other Web Slingers, I could tap the Clutter Cluster without having to attack with it, then Web Sling back the Clutter Cluster, and then tap that creature to then Web Sling out the Clutter Cluster and get multiple spiders and gain 3. But we never hit another web slinger. Both of our Both of our uncommon web slingers we were looking for were just way too far down. Even if the Spider Coach did stick around, they were so deep into the library we would not have drawn them before we just died anyway. That was a very rough way to end it. A super long game. It always sucks to go 3-0 into 0-2 to have a undefeated streak into both your losses in a row. It's even worse when one of your losses is longer than basically all of your wins combined. That one game of Magic. Like technically a winning record here, 3-2, right? We went 3-0 undefeated at the start, but it just feels like a real mediocre draft when half the time playing was just one really long losing game. But it is what it is. That is pick 2 draft for you. You only got 2 losses to give, and they can catch up with you real quick. We don't have a million web slinging cards here. Right, because we'd already drawn the Clutter Cluster and the Zan. So the only web slingers we could have drawn to really be out there were the 2 Sarns, but it was sad to see them both in the bottom quarter of the library there, in the bottom 11. There was other stuff that if I was more familiar with the set, we could have done differently. We could have been more aggressive with the aerialist there earlier, but it would not have stacked up into enough damage to kill them before they killed us. And then the other thing was, I could have been choosing to just literally never attack with the Spider Coach, so that I could play around the destroy an attacking or blocking creature. That way I make sure that even if they have that removal spell, Sarn is still an out to win us the game, to grind us out that game. But again, that play also ends up irrelevant because we never drew Sarn in the first place. So what can you do? The big thing here was during the draft we could have gotten more removal. I only remember one opportunity really to get more removal, but we could have had 2 spectacular tactics instead of just the one. I believe we took a City Pigeon over a spectacular tactics. I think I would definitely do that differently. I mean, the City Pigeon was great in here. It's a great card for the deck, but the removal is just so important, and only having 3 of them caused us certainly our final losing game. Our first losing game was really just mana in general. We kept the mono colored hand, which was a bit risky, but it had 3 castable spells in it. And then we didn't draw a single land the whole game, so that's just going to happen to you. So 1 game of variance and then 1 game of losing to the biggest flaw of the deck, which is a lack of removal. And that is going to give us a 3-2 positive record here, but not the full trophy run. And while it's not the trophy, it is a positive record, a positive win rate, and we're in the money. 900 gems to play, 1,000 gems in 2 packs out of the event. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm send some more in the recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.